Welcome to this lesson. I am teacher Katimbo Richard, teaching mathematics. I've come again to continue with this topic called patterns and sequences. Remember, I started it in the lesson before, and we were majorly focusing on even and odd numbers. So I've come to talk more about the same. That is in our P4 term 1, which work will be found on page 60 up to page 61. And we are talking about more even and odd numbers, and then we shall talk about other things in the next lesson. So we're looking at more about even numbers in this class before. I said go to page 60 all the way to 61. You will find this very work about even numbers and odd numbers. So we shall look at these examples which will aid answering that work on the same pages of 60 and 61. The first example says find the sum of the first three even numbers. Remember, we said even numbers are those numbers which, when divided by 2, one does not get a remainder. And we gave examples like 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and so on. And you see that from one even number to the other, one goes on adding 2. Because 0 plus 2, you get 2. 2 plus 2, 4. 4 plus 2, 6. 6 plus 2, 8. Plus 2, that's 8 plus 2, you get 10. 10 plus 2, 12, in that order. So that's what's called a pattern. So it's a pattern of plus 2. Or it's called a sequence. It's a plus 2 sequence. So now the question reads, find the sum of the first three even numbers, which you must know, like 0, 2, 4, like that. So the first three even numbers are 0, 2, 4. And we said sum is the result after adding 2 or more numbers. Now that these numbers are 3, you are required to add them. That's 0 plus 2 plus 4. Where 0 plus 2, you get 2, 2 plus 4, you get 6. So the sum of the first three even numbers is 6. And that's all. You will have answered that question. Then we look at example number 2, still about even numbers. The question is, find the sum of the even numbers between 5 and 9. Find the sum of the even numbers between 5 and 9. This time, the word is between. So what are the even numbers between 5 and 9? That is 6 and 8. So you identify them as 6 and 8. And now you're asking for the sum, meaning do add them. So it says sum equals 6 plus 8, which is equal to 14. By the moment you identify them properly and you know what even numbers are and which ones are between 5 and 9, you will then interpret the word sum, which calls for addition of the said even numbers, which are 6 and 8. Please do add them, that's 6 plus 8, and get 14. So 14 is the sum of the even numbers between 5 and 9. Identify them to be 6 and 8. And then later sum them up, meaning add them to get 14. So a plus sign of addition operation is used to get the sum, which is 14. And now the example number 3 reads, find the difference between the 60th and the 3rd even numbers. Find the difference between the 6th and the 3rd even numbers. So here, you must list all the even numbers and identify those ones that are positioned to be 6th as well as the 3rd. Now, what are they? 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. You list some even numbers, then identify the sixth and the third. This is first, second, third. So the third is 4. Right here, third is the 4, and then this is the fourth, the fifth, the sixth. So the sixth is that 10. So the numbers on target are 4 and 10. 10 is the sixth even number, as 4 is the third. Now find the difference. We said difference is the result after subtracting two numbers. Now that the two numbers are 10 and 4, why are they the ones identified? 4 is the third even number and 10 is the sixth even number. Now find the difference between those two, that's 10 and 4. So find the difference, which difference is got by subtraction of those two. 10 minus 4, you get 6. So 6 is the difference between the sixth and the third even numbers. Please do as teacher has done, you'll be able to get that answer successfully. And then we go to example number 4 today, that says find the product of 4 and the second even number. Find the product of 4 and the second even number. Here 4 is dictated, you must not change it to fourth. It's the 4 and the mean 4. And the second even number. List the even numbers and then you identify the second. That is 0, 2, 4, 6. First, second. The second even number is 2. Now find the product of 4 and 2. Remember, product, as we said before, means the outcome after multiplying 2 or more numbers. Today we have got 2 numbers. That is 4 and 2, which has proved to be the second even number. So now multiply those two, 4 and 2. So say product, that is 4 times 2 is equal to 8. So the product of 4 and the second even number is 8. And in so doing, you will have answered. And now we go to example number 5, which says complete the table. The instructions say complete the table, meaning the table has got gaps which you must fill in. When you fill them in, you will be perfect. So please complete. It is incomplete, you are going to complete it. Now the main operation is addition here. You are then required to add. Now we've got the top numbers and the numbers that are vertically arranged. So meaning you are going to add this number on top with this corresponding vertical number. So we are obliged to add these numbers, and majorly they are even numbers. That is 0, 2, 4, 6, and here 0, 2, 4 as even numbers to be added. Now we are starting to see and then realize what comes out. These will be taken as gap number 1, gap number 2, gap number 3, gap number 4, gap 5, gap 6, gap 7, gap 8, and gap 9. We are going to work out those gaps in addition. And now this gap 1, you will see that on top we've got 0 and across we've got 0. So this gap is got when you add 0 to 0. This is a 0 and across is bringing what is called a 0. So we are going to fill this gap by adding 0 and 0. So 0 plus 0. We are writing here gap 1. 0 plus 0 is equal to 0, and then fill in that got answer 0. So fill in that 0, properly design it in the O style. So that is a 0. How have we got it? That is the upper and the down, and the one across. This one is going to be 2 and 0. This is going to be 4 and 0. This is going to be 6 and 0. This is going to be 0 and 2 added. This is going to be 2 plus 2. This is going to be 6 plus 2. This is going to be 0 plus 4. This is going to be 4 plus 4. And then you get the answers. Now we go to gap number 2. Having got gap number 1 as 0 plus 0. You get 0. Now gap number 2 is the one here. I say it's going to be 2 plus 0. 2 plus 0. 2 plus 0. You get the topmost number and this one across connected and get that sum of that answer. So go 2 plus 2 plus 0. This is a 2 plus 0. That's why the second number 2 is equal to 2 plus 0. It's got 2 and then fill in that 2 properly. And now we go to this one. It's going to be 4 plus 0. Gap number 3 is saying 4 plus 0 is equal to 4. And then fill in that 4 here. Let that 4 be filled in properly. And then you get the third mark for that kind of table. Then this is going to be gap number 4. Gap 4 is a 6 plus 0. Gap 4, 6 plus 0 is equal to 6. Then fill in that 6 successfully. And then you continue gap number 5. It's going to be 0 plus 2. Gap number 5, 0 plus 2, you get 2. Then fill in that 2 properly. That 2. It is a 2. And then go to gap number 6. It's going to be 2 plus 2. 2 plus 2. That's gap number 6, which is a 2 plus 2. You get a 4. 2 plus 2, you get a 4. And then you continue. This is gap number 7. Gap number 7 is going to be 6 plus 2. 6 plus 2. 6 plus 2. So right it here, there must be working. 6 plus 2. Get 8 and then fill in 8 here, fill in 8, and that is all. We go gap number 8. Gap 8 is going to be 0 plus 4. 0 plus 4. So here, you write here 0 plus 4 is equal to 4, and write our 4 here properly. Then the final gap is gap number 9. It's going to be 4 plus 4. 4 plus 4. That's why it's 4 plus 4, which is equal to 8. That's how we do add. Now, what are we realizing? In our addition of an even number with another even number, we are realizing that an even number plus an even number, you get an even number. So that's why all these here are in line with 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Such things. So they are the answers that come out here. So we have only such answers 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8. So therefore we conclude that an even number plus an even number, you get another even number. And that's all. And that's the way we analyze our even numbers. And now we are going to look at more about these odd numbers, or the other category which is called odd numbers. The question is, what's an odd number? An odd number is a number which, when divided by 2, one gets a remainder. One gets remainder 1. It's the opposite of even numbers. I said an even number is that one when divided by 2, there is no remainder. As opposed to odd numbers, when we divide odd numbers by 2, we then get remainders. So, any number we not talk about in the first category, that is even numbers, is actually an odd number. For example, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, 19, in that order. Those are all odd numbers. When we divide by 2, they lead to a remainder. For example, 3 divided by 2, you get 1, remainder 1. 5 divided by 2, that's 2, remainder 1. And 9 divided by 2, you get 4, remainder 1. 13 divided by 2, you get 6, remainder 1. So you get a remainder when divided by 2. And now we are going to look at how one can set those numbers. And then you answer accordingly. Like example number 1 says list all odd numbers less than 10. Like I've already listed, the list is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. They are listed by 10. Please don't go more than 10. So less than 10, there are only 5 of them. That is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. That's the list provided, and then you underline and go. And then we continue with number 2 up here. Number 2 up here. Number 2. Number 2 says, what is the sum of odd numbers less than 8? What is the sum of odd numbers less than 8? One must then know. They say odd numbers less than 10, and then one must care about the word sum. What does the word sum mean? Sum means the result after adding 2 or more numbers. Now, identify the numbers of those said odd numbers less than 8. So they are 1, 3, 5, 7. Now you ask for the sum. After identifying them, then sum them up, total them up, or add them. So you say sum equals 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7. Divide them and then pair them for easy addition. You pair this meaning tie 2 things and then get one sum. Here 1 plus 3 get 4 and 5 plus 7 get 12. Now I've got 4 plus 12 which is equal to 16. So the sum of all odd numbers less than 8 is 16. And that's all. Please, you must know which ones are odd numbers and then know the meaning of sum and do it accurately. You get a 16. And that's the way we answer that question, my friend, P.4. Then go to number 3. What is the product of the third and the fourth odd number? The question reads, what is the product of the third and the fourth odd number? Now, what you need to do is to list all the numbers and then identify the third and the fourth. So the odd numbers are 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and so on. Now, this is the first, second, this is the third. The third is 5. Right there, third is 5. And they are near the fourth also. The fourth is 7. So the third is 5 and the fourth is 7. Now they are asking us for the product. Right about the product, remember product means the outcome or the result after multiplying 2 or more numbers. Today we've got 2 numbers which are 5 and 7 for which we are finding the product. We say product equals 5 times 7. Which product must be actually got at 37, 35. So the product of 5 and 7 is 35, which is got by multiplying those 2. That is 5 times 7 is equal to 35. And that's the answer to that example number 3. Then go to example number 4 that reads, list down the odd numbers from 5 to 15. Always care about the instructions. List down the odd numbers from, remember, from 5 to 15. When you hear the word from, it means you start with that very one. So they are 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15. All the numbers from 5 to 15 are 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, and that's the answer. And it's the list. Please, after each written, you put a comma. After writing any, put a comma, and that's the answer. And again, you must know, one day we say, list down the odd numbers between 5 and 15. When I say between, you don't include these very numbers. That is 5 and 15, meaning you say 7, 9, 11, 13, and that's all. But now they are saying from to, meaning include them. From 5 to 15, meaning both are already odd numbers and must be included. So we say 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15. And that's all. You get the maximum marks for that number. And then look at this example teachers brought in number 5, which reads, find the product of the second and the fourth odd number. Find the product of the second and the fourth odd number. Like we did in number 3, we list odd numbers, and then later we identify the second and fourth, and later find the product by multiplying. So the odd numbers listed are 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. Here you must care about all the odd numbers without omission. Otherwise, the second and the fourth will be changed when you don't order them well right from the first. So the first is 1, the second is 3, and it's needed here, so show it very well. The third is 5, and the fourth is also needed here as 7. So the said odd numbers, that's second and fourth, are 3 and 7 respectively. Now find the product of 3 and 7. Remember I said products found by multiplying 2 or more numbers, and the two numbers we have are 3 and 7, being the second and the fourth odd numbers. So we say product equals that is 3 times 7, which must be actually got as 21. So 21 is the product of the second and fourth odd numbers. That is a 3 and 4. Sorry, a 3 and 7. That order. That's the way we do that number. 21 is the product. Please you underline. As we move to a 6th example. Example number 6 today says, fill in the missing number. Fill in the missing number. Actually, missing numbers, they are more than 1. So, a list of odd numbers is given. That is 1, 3, 5, dash, 9, dash, dash. So now that they have got a sequence or a pattern they follow, which I said before, they follow a +2 pattern like odd numbers, meaning 1 plus 2, you get 3. 3 plus 2, you get 5. 5 plus 2, you get 7. 7 plus 2, you get 9. 9 plus 2, you get 11. 11 plus 2, you get 13. So you go adding 2 to the former number to get a new one in among odd and even numbers. Now we're dealing with odd numbers here. So to get the next numbers, show the working. 1 plus 2, you get 3. 3 plus 2, you get 5. Now the next gap is 5 plus 2, you get 7. You write here as 7. Now 7 plus 2, you get 9. It's already here. The next gap, that is 9 plus 2, you get 11. Fill in 11. Then finally, the last gap is 11 plus 2, you get 13. And then fill in. Remember to fill in. Show the working and fill in. So what are we realizing? That odd numbers have got a +2 pattern or sequence. I've got that follow-up of a +2. You go on adding 2. 1 plus 2, you get 3. 3 plus 2, you get 5. 5 plus 2, you get 7. 7 plus 2, you get 9. 9 plus 2, you get 11. 11 plus 2, you get 13. So you realize that the sequence is like a rhythm in a song. So you go like you're singing. That's what I'm saying. 1 plus 2, you get 3. 3 plus 2, you get 5. 5 plus 2, you so like that flow of the information in terms of a rhythm. So you go on adding 2 to get a new one. It's like even numbers where we went on adding 2. So even odd numbers have got a common plus 2 pattern or sequence, and then you get the numbers. Now, finally, among odd numbers, you are told to complete the table. Complete the table meaning there are gaps that are yet to be filled, which you must fill, which when filled, you will be a successful P4 member. Now, I've got a plus sign of addition, meaning we're going to add these numbers across with numbers going downwards. So, we are considering this to be gap 1, gap 2, gap 3, gap 4, gap 5, gap 6, and gap 7. We have got 7 gaps. Gap 1, we shall add 3 and 1. 3 plus 1, right there. 5 plus 1, here. 7 plus 1, there. Then here, gap number 4 will be a 1 plus 3. Gap number 5 will be a 3 plus 3. Gap number 6 will be a 1 plus 5. And then gap number 7 will be a 7 plus 5. What you get out is the answer. Now, gap 1, I say it will be a 3 plus 1. Show the working. 3 plus 1 is equal to 4. Thereby filling it in properly. That is our 4 gap number 1. Now we go to gap number 2 to be a 5 plus 1. A 5 plus 1. So that's gap number 2. 5 plus 1, you get a 6. Which is 6? You are supposed to write in here. Write a 6 properly and then continue. So write our 6 in gap number 2. In gap number 2, write our 6 properly, and that's all. Then we go to gap number 3 to be a 7 plus 1. A 7 plus 1. Just follow where this one ends up and this one ends across here. So that is 7 plus 1. So that's the working here, gap number 3, 7 plus 1. You get an 8, and fill it in there. Then we go to gap number 4 to be a 1 plus 3. That's gap number 4, 1 plus 3. You get our 4 and then fill it in here. That is our 4. Then we go to gap number 5. It will be a 3 plus a 3. Gap number 5 will be a 3 plus 3. 3 plus 3, you get a 6, which 6 must be written properly there, and then call it an answer to the 6. Then gap number 6 will be a 1 plus 5. Gap number 6, 1 plus 5 is also a 6, and fill it in here. It is a 6. And then final gap number 7 will be that 7 plus 5. 7 plus 5, you get that 12, and fill it in. In so doing, you have got 7 marks, just a mere table there. 7 good marks. Somebody will say free, but it needs one to read and understand. So it's a plus sign of addition, and then you answer accordingly. Now, what's the conclusion about the table? We shall conclude that when an odd number is added to another odd number, one gets an even number. We see that all these answers are even numbers. You see 2, 4, 6, 8, 4, 6, 8, 10, 6, 8, 10, 12. So none of them is an odd number. They are all even numbers, whereas those who have been adding have been odd numbers. So an odd number plus another odd number, you get an even number. In this table, you will see it properly, and properly will be displayed that an odd number plus another odd number, you get an even number. So, like I said, this work is on 2 pages of 61 and 60. I said 60 and 61, that's where you find it. And for more information about the same or mathematics in general, please call this teacher Katimbo on 0776 251655, or on Airtel line, that is 075. I say 07572 33066. I repeat, 07572 33066. That's the end of the lesson. Thank you for viewing and stay safe.